They said this week that Willow's supposed to get a new attorney or whatever. So I seen the preview for tomorrow's episode where Drew's talking to Alexis and he's saying basically he making a deal with her. Wouldn't it be a conflict of interest because ain't Diane represent one of them? I think she's being represented. I mean, Michael's being represented by Diane, ain't it? I can't remember, but I thought that'll be a conflict or whatever it's called. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life of Chelsea for General Hospital, October 22, 2025. First things first, let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What did y'all think? Did y'all like the episode? I like the episode. Look, we weren't supposed to start here. We supposed to started with Willow going to Penville. And not only that, it's the fact that we still don't know who did it. I think the promo should have been them revealing, who shot Drew. I think that would have been good. I think that would have been good. That would have gave us something to look forward to this week. I can't even remember. What else did they show this week? I know they showed somebody going to visit Valentine. By this episode, I'm assuming that it's Carly. I'm assuming that Carly's supposed to be the one to go see him to ask him questions about Brennan and his operation and all this extra stuff. What else did they show? I can't remember what else they showed, y'all. Oh, Ronnie's supposed to kick Tracy out. But, okay, so we're going to start at the beginning with Brennan and Carly. Carly, I thought she was telling him that she knew about Jocelyn being a part of WSB. But when he turned around or whatever, I was like, he still ain't put two and two together. I mean, she ain't telling him. But long story short, excuse me. Long story short, she didn't tell him nothing. She was telling him about the flowers because he asked where they was. She was like, for some reason, she knocked them over. Some excuse she gave, so she had to throw them out. What else did they talk about? They started talking about the whole Vaughn situation, and she was like, she wanted to know why he didn't tell her once again, and she didn't know if she could get past it because she was struggling and stuff. Then this fool ends up telling her he'll do anything for her, whatever. He don't know how he got there or whatever, but he crazy about it. He crazy about it, whatever. But not enough to tell the doggone truth. And nobody knew about the Cyrus situation yet. What else did he tell her? She brought up Jocelyn being in danger. He was like, she was never in any danger. Just he. I was like, you old lying tell. So after he left, because at first, he was scared that she was going to walk out on him. I thought she was too. By the way she was talking, she did not. She playing him. So after he left, that's when she called Spinelli. She ends up telling him she need him to do something for her, but he can't tell anybody, not even Jason. So she wants a new identity, a fake identity or whatever. I'm assuming it's to go see Valentine to ask him a question because Valentine's supposed to be talking to somebody. Look like they got a wig on. I'm thinking Carly. But yeah, so I was like, dude, oh my goodness, at this point, I don't know. I want them to, I feel like it's more in regards to Brendan. I feel like he knows more. He's up to more. I mean, he already said how he wants the stuff for himself, whatever adults and them been working on. Speaking of adults, they never go back to, remember how the, I think, what's her name? What's the Anna granddaughter name? Emma. Remember how Emma's supposed to been, going to, I think, break into the lab or something like that? She ain't never do it, did she? What happened to that storyline? But okay, yeah, Carly ends up telling Brendan that she threw his flowers out. Martin wanted to make sure Marco and him were on the same page. That's when he ends up going up to talk to Molly or whatever. And Martin started looking. I said, Martin putting two and two together. I said, Martin putting two and two together. Nina was looking for Willow or whatever. The good it did. Dante ends up asking Michael if he said Willow, and he ends up, their whole conversation was him trying to tell his brother that he didn't do it. He kept trying to tell him he did not do it or whatever, but he hard of hearing, apparently, kept trying to get him to come forward. Let's backtrack. Who did I skip over? We already talked about Brendan and Carly. Marco now, hold on. Let's go back to Marco now. So Marco wanted to make a deal with Molly. They was trying to convince Nina to do the right thing or whatever, retract her statement or whatever, so she did. She did, might as well go and get them out the way. So court started or whatever. They end up denying Willow bail. They tried to say, like, she has no history of violence and all this stuff. They was like, regardless of that, she's suspected of attempted murder or whatever, so they denied her bail. They denied her bail. Everybody was shocked. Drew kept outbursting in the court and stuff like that. So then they started with Nina. They ended up revealing to the judge that they came to an agreement. If she retracted her statement, then basically she had to do probation and she had to pay, I think, $10K. I think she had to pay $10K. So Drew was like, Nina, you B word. Nina, you B word. And Willow ends up telling her she hated her because Nina kept trying to convince her that she was doing it for her and she has a plan and all this other stuff. And that's when she ends up telling her she hated her. She should be the one locked up. I said, how you going to be mad at her when you was just saying in the morning that you wanted to retract your statement about being her alibi, not knowing that they already got her on video being in her apartment? I said, how you still mad? And I need to backtrack. I about to say backstep. I need to backtrack too. When the judge denied her bail and all this other stuff, she did the same thing when they told her she couldn't get custody. She ran up to the judge or whatever. I said, you proving these people right. You proving them right. And the judge basically told her that it was final and stuff like that. Once again, they supposed to be taking her to Pentonville. She told Drew to help, and he promised that he was going to help, and he's supposed to be talking to Alexis on tomorrow's episode. Because Martin had left. He said he had to go. He couldn't represent her because he was already representing Drew and stuff like that. So he going to Alexis. And I was like, I thought they couldn't, if they already working, if they firm working with one person, can they do that? How they supposed to do that? Then Michael Chatterbox over here. Is he next? Let me see if he next. Yeah, they next. They definitely next. Hold on. Okay. Dante and Michael. Dante ends up asking Michael if he said with love. So they were having that discussion in the kitchen. All these people over here for a doggone tea party, and y'all having this conversation in the kitchen. He kept telling his brother how he didn't do it or whatever. Just kept trying to reassure him that he didn't do it and stuff. And he just kept asking him. I said, didn't he tell you he didn't do it? How many different ways and how many different times you going to ask him? He said he didn't do it. So they end up taking the conversation outside. Hold on, let me make sure. I think this was the point where they went outside. Dante ends up telling him he thinks that Michael has a stronger motive to shoot Drew than Willow does. And she doesn't have a history of violence. And they were just talking about that, and he was encouraging him to come forward. Dante was encouraging Michael to come forward, talking about some if you did it or whatever, the right thing to do is for you to come forward and stuff. So he was like, you encouraged me to come forward last time, and I got tried as an adult or whatever, and I went to Pentonville. He told me, I never forgive myself for what I did and all this other stuff. And he's like, you think I'd take your advice again? I said, exactly. Now, did you do it or not, though? I said, did you do it or not? Because I don't know. I started out saying Willow or whatever. Now, I really don't know. Maybe it's going to be somebody none of us expected. Maybe it's going to be somebody none of us expected. They saying that Caspo be leaving the show or whatever. I don't know how true that is. But I said it couldn't have been him. Because once again, aside from the photo where somebody had hair, he was in the room with Trina. He was in the room with Trina. So I don't know how they finna get ready to spin this. But yeah. What else did they say? I forgot. But yeah, they were still outside. Michael ends up telling Dante he giving him the same advice as last time. Why would he take his advice or whatever? And that's when he told him, he regrets that and he hasn't forgiven himself for that and stuff like that. So these fools. Wait, I skipped the part. Dante said Michael different since he came back from Germany. He was telling him all the reasons why he different. He's like, you said I'm different, but Willow different too. I said, that's true. I said, both of y'all different, because I said the other day, I was like, Michael, he kind of been ruthless before, but he definitely ruthless now. But if you taking babies, why people don't get that? She taking babies. Even if the baby wasn't in danger, she taking babies to make folks think that the baby's in danger. Hello? She taking babies. She needs help. Then she'll be able to see her kids. Just get her help, and she'll be able to see her kids, I'm assuming. Now, if she get help and he still don't want her to see the kids, then y'all can have that discussion. But she taking babies. She taking babies out cribs and changing their clothes and stuff. She don't 2 days after the doggone crib and changed her clothes, turn her the other way, turning on music and everything else. And y'all talking about how nothing's wrong with her. Nothing's going on with her. Nothing's going on with her. She taking babies. Matter of fact, didn't she take her from the house? That was more than once that she took the baby. More than once. All they need to do is figure out, everybody need to reveal, because Nina and Drew both, they ain't gonna do nothing. I take that back. They is not gonna do nothing. But yeah, they end up coming in or whatever, and they having this conversation about if he did it once again. So he ends up saying, if I was the one that shot Drew, he be dead. They heard that. Lucy and Lulu heard that. Then he said, goes on to say if he had a friend and stuff like that, he'll do it in a way that he'll make sure she'll never see the kids again. They just looking all shocked and stuff. I said, he didn't say he did it. He said if he had did it. And Lulu's supposed to be talking to Lucas on tomorrow's episode. And Lucas supposed to be saying, what if you helping to set a guilty woman free and stuff like that. So she want to go forward and post this article or tell what she overheard. I said, you heard him say if he had done it. He didn't say he did do it. And they should already know that he was there. They should be questioning him. Well, Dante was, but it was off the record or whatever. I said, well, obviously they would question him and Carly because they both was over there. Elizabeth probably gonna come forward and say that sooner or later. But yeah, I was like, you didn't hear him say he did it. But at the same time, Michael talking too much again. First she told Brooklyn, because Brooklyn gonna share what she heard. Then Lulu and Lucy and Dante, everybody gonna share what they heard because he talking too much. He talking more to these folks than he did to Sonny. That's crazy. If you gonna talk to anybody, talk to the known criminal who been getting away with it for decades now. Why would you talk to these people that talk too much? One ready to itching and one itching to go post in her doggone article now about what she done heard. I know you don't know that she right there. I was waiting on them to look up. Well, yeah, then, wait a minute. Not only Lulu itching to tell something, Lucy can't hold water. Lucy for to tell everybody in town. By the end of the doggone week, everybody in town gonna know what Michael said. So now, look, maybe she ain't going to Pentonville. I ain't seen nothing about the lady that played Willow leaving or anything like that. Have y'all? Because otherwise, it's like maybe she ain't going to Pentonville. I said they need to go on or whatever. Now, once again, I agree with everybody saying they hoping that Michael got another trick up his sleeve, that he got evidence or something like that. I said exactly. I'm hoping so too. That'll be the perfect way. If you don't got evidence about her shooting Drew or whoever shooting Drew, if you actually know who did it, maybe you'll have evidence of her playing it right there. But then that'll be him moving the evidence. So would it still be evidence if he moved it? Because he over here acting like he ain't did that either. We didn't actually see him do it. We just seen him looking. But then we seen Carly looking too. So we really don't know at this point. It's all a guessing game. Maybe next month we'll know. What else? Look, I done skipped over somebody. I finished with Michael now. Because the last thing with them was Lucy and them overheard what they was talking about. Let's see. I did skip over some people. Olivia was introducing people to Ronnie. You could tell she was bored. You could tell that there wasn't something she was into. Might as well get that out the way. You could tell that she wasn't having fun and stuff like that. They was talking about how Felicia was a princess or something like that. And she ends up bowing and stuff like that. Or whatever they call it. What they call it? Curtsy. And Tracy was back there just laughing, enjoying herself. She wanted Ronnie to be uncomfortable. How do y'all think that Ronnie spiked her own drink? Martin know doggone well that wasn't Lulu's phone. Martin, when he heard what she said about them hosting that event and about Monica's house and sister and all this other stuff, he was trying to come there. He intentionally tried to come there. He intentionally, once she said it wasn't her phone, he supposed to got up out of there. He stayed long enough where I think Stella was the one who seen him and invited him back there or whatever. That's when he was introduced or whatever. And he trying to act like he didn't know certain things. But once again, y'all remember that letter that was under there. I don't know exactly what it said, but it was a letter under the doggone chair. So I don't know who had it, if it was Drew. I don't know who did anything with it or what, but it was a letter under that chair at Drew's house. Y'all know they like to introduce stuff and then not pick it up again. They'll drop it off, but don't pick it up. But yeah, so next thing you know, Ronnie done got tipsy. She got drunk and stuff like that. Tracy talking about so she got a drinking problem. She was like, she don't got no drinking problem or whatever. So she started telling her she got a problem. I thought she about to kick her out then because on the promo, she's supposed to tell her to get out. So she was like, you know what your problem is? You uptight and just going off on her. And she told her she undersexed. Told her she need to get laid or whatever. Everybody just so shocked. Tracy was so concerned that Ronnie was going to break that tea fight and everything else. Only for Stella to break one of the cups. Wasn't that one of the cups? She was shocked when she said that she needed to get laid and she dropped that doggone cup and it shattered. I did think she was going to break that teapot or whatever because she kept hitting it. She was just hitting it and stuff. And on tomorrow's episode, she's supposed to tell her to get out. And I wonder if she's just going to kick Tracy out or she going to kick everybody out. I said she got a lot of people to kick out though. But yeah, I think Tracy, I don't know. I feel like Tracy right. I don't know if Ronnie knows about the house, if she was a part of it being changed. I definitely think the will has been changed. You could tell they setting it up for it to been changed. And not only that, I think there's more to Ronnie too. Good or bad, I don't know. We gonna see soon enough. And I think the last thing was her telling Tracy she needed to get laid. Who else? Portia and Jordan. They over here. Ronnie was asking Jordan why she's single or whatever, and then Portia ends up saying, "I got a feeling you won't be single for long." I said, "Not you over here trying to push these folks together so you can feel better about the fact that you cheated on your husband multiple times and possibly got pregnant by somebody else, Even if he did, you already done cheated now. You done cheated now. You cheated. You the cheater. Now they do be around each other too much. The people be over here like, yeah, they got history. Y'all make every excuse in the world for these people to do stuff they ain't supposed to be doing. Everybody got all the excuses in the world for why inappropriateness is the word. Why these people be doing stuff that they know they shouldn't. Then when they end up spending all that time together and they end up accidentally kissing or whatever, then accidentally sleeping together, be like, oh, I didn't know. I don't know how it happened. You know how it happened. You know how it happened. But yeah, so they kept offering Portia. I be getting these folks confused now. They was offering her food and stuff, and she was like no. And then you could tell she was getting sick. Jordan just started looking at her. I said, see, people can't mind their business. People can't mind their business. So at the end of their scene, she ends up asking her, she's okay. She's like, yeah, I'm okay. See, look, I'm okay. So she asked her, she pregnant. On tomorrow's episode, she's supposed to be getting her jacket and telling her she need to mind her business. She's supposed to talk to Isaiah on tomorrow's episode, so I don't know if she actually going to talk to him or not. I don't know if Jordan is going to tell that Portia could be pregnant or what, but y'all know how it be. People can't mind their business unless it concerns them. What else? Who did we forget? I think there's everybody. Did I get everybody? Let me see. Ronnie, Olivia, Tracy in Brooklyn. Tracy was just saying how she want Ronnie to be uncomfortable. Elizabeth and Portia. She said she not gonna tell Curtis until she knows whether or not he's the father. I said, well, how you gonna know whether or not he's the father if you don't get no test did? You ain't got no test did, so you're not gonna know. So that means you ain't planning on telling for a long time. I said, is this gonna be another storyline where they keep it a secret, where he over here excited and happy, thinking that he gonna be the daddy, only to find out you may or may not be the daddy. It's actually Isaiah or whatever. And then Isaiah, you can't trust him not to say nothing because he talked too much too. He already done confronted the man. I said, how you sleep with this man's wife and then want to go confront him to my son? He abusing his power, abusing Portia's authority or whatever crazy stuff he said. I said, now where you get that from? You just made up something. You just made up something. You just made up something just to excuse your behavior. Whether or not he over here doing this and doing that, they ain't got no reason why. That don't even make sense for you to. That didn't make sense either, but they don't excuse what you and her was in that doggone hospital room doing. But yeah, I think I already said Martin and Lulu. They was talking about the case and Willow and stuff like that. She was filling in for somebody and they arrived, so she was like, she got to go. That's when she revealed they're having a tea party and stuff, and Tracy not happy about this and that. And he came to the house to my son, here go your phone. She was like, I got my phone. That's not my phone or whatever. I said, it's probably his phone. He wanted to come there for a reason. I said, he up to something. He know more than what he's saying. He definitely do, because once again, he said to her, she finna lose everything. He said to Drew recently how he got a feeling that Tracy finna get what's coming to her and all this other stuff. So either he had help, either he was the one who had the wheel change, because I think somebody pointed out how he knew that Drew wasn't in the wheel, but how did he know that if he not the attorney handling the case or whatever? But I don't know, y'all. That's it. That's all. Let me make sure. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, deuces, have a great rest of the day. We say